The Patreon pick this week, as requested by Slay by Jay on Patreon, thank you for the request, was the 1997 film Life is Beautiful. And if you also want to get your pick put into our queue and watched and reviewed by us, go to guaps.com/Patreon or patreon.com/Guapish. $1 a month. Get that sucker in the queue and we'll watch it and review it at some point. Anywho, this is the story of some Jewish guy who falls in love with a Italian French? I can't fucking remember. It's one of those two.
Okay, hold on. Come on, Jackson. What country are they in?
Dude, it was fucking a week ago when I watched this. I don't fucking remember.
It's Italy. They're Italian.
Italian, there we go. Thank you, Dylan, for the help there. He falls in love with some like royalty Italian chick, or maybe not like actual royalty, but just like really fucking rich. And they get sent to a concentration camp, and the dad's a funny guy, and he likes to distract his son of the horrors of them being in a fucking concentration camp by being a funny guy and playing pretend basically throughout the entirety of it.
The end.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, one of your weaker summaries.
I mean, what should I have said? The guy gets fucking shot at the end? I'm giving the general synopsis of what the movie's about, not the fucking play-by-play
spoil
plot.
it for the people.
It's fair enough. I mean, why are they watching a review of it? Yeah.
We probably should have spoiler alerts on every single review. I should probably put that into my template.
That might be a good idea.
I don't... sure.
Probably.
Ratings?
Well, Tanner's fun fact.
Oh, yeah. Fun fact. Guido's wife is played by the actor's real-life wife.
Can't believe they named him Guido.
I was gonna say, it's very funny they named him Guido. Probably intentional as well.
Yeah, probably.
To really drive home that Jews are just like you and me.
I feel like I'm going to be a downer on this one, so I'm going to start with my rank. I'm currently at a B+.
I mean, I'm close to that, I guess, so I guess I'll go next. I got it at an A-.
I'm lower than you are, Jax. I'm at a B.
Oof.
I'm at an S. What the fuck is wrong with you guys?
I'm shocked you like this movie, Tanner, considering you don't believe, any of the historical events in the film actually happened.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah.
I think as a piece of fiction, it's great.
I think the biggest problem I have with this movie is really just tonal, and it's just kind of what they're trying to go for. And it's really exacerbated in the last third, I would say. It's just it's like a fucking... like a silent movie skit I'm watching with his escape bullshit he's doing, and it's just any amount of tension or suspense I'd have is just completely thrown out the window because it's just fucking goofy and ridiculous and stupid. And unfortunately, my suspension of disbelief was just shattered in that moment. I think the idea behind it all is cute. I like the main character. I think he's a fun guy. I like his way of, stopping his child from realizing the horrors of their situation, but also he unfortunately is a double-edged sword in that instance because it's hard to take the movie seriously because of that. He got fucking shot in the alley. That was supposed to be a big moment. I felt nothing. I thought it was fucking funny, honestly. And I feel bad about that. That's not what they're going for at all. It just didn't work for me, unfortunately, which sucks because I'm normally into these types of movies, and it just fucking fell flat. I don't know. I mean, I still think it was good. I give it a B+. That's solid, but I'm not crazy on it.
I got a dumb question. What was alluding to him being Jewish? I completely missed that part until they put him on the train, and I was like,
"Have you seen the guy?"
It was as soon as they got into town, his uncle was getting harassed for being Jewish, and the uncle was telling him, "By the way, this is gonna happen to you too."
I just saw that, by the way, this is gonna happen to you too part. Was it verbatim, on the screen in the subtitles, hey, we're Jewish or whatever? I missed that part completely until they were on the train.
Jewish horse or something spray painted on his horse.
I just thought that was a joke because it was World War II era.
No.
So, being called...
What do you mean?
Well, because, I figured, in the era of World War II, Jews were, kind of a lesser being, quotation marks. So, saying it's a Jewish horse
is, understatement.
You thought they were just insulting the horse itself?
No, I just figured that, being called Jewish was, a derogatory term, so they did it because they were harassing this old man. I didn't think it was, literal because they were Jewish. That part completely evaded me.
You thought they were harassing the old man by calling him Jewish even though he isn't. That's what you thought was happening.
No, he is.
Is he Jewish?
Yes.
Yes, they're Jewish.
They're all
I didn't know that
Guido
until they got on the
and all of
train.
his family members are all Jewish.
Well, except for the wife.
I missed that part until they got on the train. all of it. I agree with Jackson's.
I feel like that's
part.
all on you. I mean,
I'm not saying it's a movie. I mean, I kind of think it's a movie's fault, but
I don't know that they really openly state it at any point. But like, there are enough references.
Heavily implied.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty heavily implied, like from basically the beginning.
Huh. Oh well, whatever. My only other concern outside of what Jackson said was the pacing. The pacing of the movie was kind of hit or miss, but it moved along at a fair enough pace, so I'm not going to dock it too much for that, but I really didn't have too many other issues. Besides, like what Jackson said, it was hard to tell when to take the movie seriously, when to not. I like the dad's, like, efforts to try and keep, like, how well he was playing off the whole, like, bad scenario thing. I did think it was a little strange and contrived to be like, which one of you here speaks German? And then that guy volunteered and completely mistranslated because they're like, do you speak German? He's like, no. I was like, I feel like in this instance, I mean, maybe not because, cultural standards back then are very different and they probably wouldn't care to. I feel like they'd have some kind of translator in that situation to make sure people got the point. But, what do I know? But, yeah.
How is that contrived?
Because, like, I feel like the Nazis would have had a translator. They wouldn't ask a random person to do it for them. I don't know, I just felt like in that scene it wasn't very believable, but, no, other than that, yeah, I agree with Jackson. I wanted to feel something when the dad got shot up in the alley, and I was like, it happened, I guess. And I felt bad because I wanted to feel something, but I couldn't, so.
Yeah, I find it very interesting that I'm the one that got emotionally affected by this movie and you guys weren't. Yeah, me giving it such a big rank is just like it worked perfectly on me. The whole the dichotomy of them trying to inject humor and make you laugh in spite of the circumstances of what's going on in the movie, in the same way that he's trying to make his son laugh in spite of their circumstances, just worked perfectly for me. I thought the emotional beats hit me well enough. Obviously, I've got a decent amount of historical knowledge of this stuff, and so like all of the more subtle hints at what's going on in the first half of the movie, it's like you'll see something and you'll go like, oh shit, that's like not good, but they don't really focus on it. It's they like let you, the audience, infer what's going on. And then it does still manage to be funny, even up until the very end, like when they do the gag with him like hanging from the light pole. And then like moments later he gets shot. And like for me, that wasn't, I didn't see it as a tonal issue. It was just like that, the thing it's trying to do, where it's trying to have you wrestle with, why am I laughing at this? This is a horrible thing, but the indomitable human spirit and whatnot,
Alas.
For the comedy, at the very least, I just didn't find it very funny, generally, is the thing, though. It was very much so that meme of, oh, look at the man walk funny, was a lot of what he was doing. Especially, like, at the very end, right before he died, he was just doing a silly walk. It's like, ain't that funny? I just...
Well, yeah, that's how you make a kid laugh.
Yeah. What, am I a kid? Am I a child in the audience, Tanner? I didn't find it very funny. I thought it was heartbreaking when he died. I thought the horrors of war I didn't like seeing, personally. I
will say, the other positive I'll give to this movie is how fluid the dad made the story he was telling his kid. Like, the fabrications he was making ultimately ended up happening. Like, oh, these kids are hiding, and it's like a really big game of hide and seek. That's why you can't be found. So, like, I like how he snuck his kid into, like, getting him into, like, the German kids' hall so he could, like, have food and all that stuff. And then, like, the part where, like, he says thank you in Italian, and then the one Nazi soldier leaves, and then he has, like, all the kids saying it in Italian, and he, like, covers that up. I think he was at least very clever. I liked how clever he was throughout the entirety of the movie. I liked the ingenuity. And then the last, I guess, like, the last, like, I almost said prophecy. That's not the word for it, but I'm going to stick with it. It was like, oh, if you win, like, we win a tank. And he's like, I already have a tank. It's like, no, it's a real tank. I did think it was I had a big, like, hell yeah internal feeling when, like, that American tank came rolling around the corner. And I was like, the dad didn't know. Or, like, maybe, that's, now that I think about it, that's a thought I wrestled with. I was like, what if, like, the dad knew what was going to happen, but, like, made the events it's like he was like a fortune teller in his own like way. Like he knew if he got his son to survive and he didn't, he knew that American troops were gonna roll through the town and probably like a tank. So like maybe he was like forecasting that or something. I just thought that was really cool. That was another thing I really liked about this movie, is just basically the unintentional, may it be, forecasting that the dad was doing for his kid.
Yeah, that's another one of the main, I don't know if it's a theme necessarily, but thing that the movie is doing with when they talk about the philosopher Schopenhauer and like willing things into existence.
Oh yeah.
And how he's doing that constantly throughout the movie. And that in and of itself is a joke, because Schopenhauer was a philosopher that the Nazis themselves really held up. And so by taking his philosophy and using it for our Jewish main character, that's it's like a irony or something.
Huh. Very cool.
Anywho, I do think the main appeal for this movie for me is just the main guy. I think he does a good job in his role. I think he's very entertaining to watch throughout. He's a funny guy. I'm not like crazy about a lot of the comedy situations. I'm kind of more leaning towards Nico's side, but he's just a fun guy to watch on screen. And they do a good job presenting, like Tanner said, the subtleties of the changes these people are experiencing and not dwelling on it, and letting the audience kind of have some agency. And the storytelling, which I do appreciate, like, you know, their fucking store getting shut down, or the place is being robbed or trashed, you know. These things are happening, but they're not going, oh my god, we're fucking Jews, we're gonna get, you know. They're letting people think about it, which I appreciate. And it did kind of like sneak up on you, you know. It's one day they're kind of living life, and the next day they're fucking gone, and that's really how it was, unfortunately. So I think they do work with the subject matter in a very delicate and well-defined way. It's just, just those tonal issues, man, at least for me. Like, I get what you're saying, Tanner, about the portrayals and trying to get that, like, the question about, you know, the father's way of looking at their situation. I understand that. It just didn't work for me, unfortunately. Which stinks, because, like, if it did work for me, I would quite like this movie, probably. It's just, like, that last act. Fucking, like, it squandered a lot of it for me, unfortunately.
I will say, probably my last positive for this movie, I did tear up a bit at the end, as the kid was, like, rolling in the tank down the road, and then all of a sudden he yells out, "Mama," and I don't know why, I, like, teared up at that moment, but I also remember, like, thinking in combination with, like, damn, if, like, the wife hadn't, like, put herself in that situation to be on the train, would the dad have died, you know? Because the only reason he got executed there at the end was because he left his kid to go try to find his wife. But yeah, no, that aside, yeah, I teared up a bit when the boy and his mom got reunited, so I thought that was a very sweet and endearing moment, for sure.
The only time I, like, actually teared up was, when they were in the back of the truck and Guido, like, for the first time had to start inventing the whole narrative of what's going on, you know, and he just gives a great performance where you can really see his mind, like, scrambling to try and figure out what he can concoct to tell his son, you know. Mm-hmm. I think some of the best moments in the film with regards to his acting are when something, like, breaks through the facade for him and he sees something that is so horrible or so beyond the pale that he can't keep up, like, the act anymore.
Yeah, there are those moments where you can just see his face of, like, what the fuck am I gonna tell him for this one?
Yeah.
Or, like, the biggest one when the son doesn't even see it, but he stumbles upon all the bodies.
Oh, yeah, that part was fucked, dude. Oh my god.
And then there's a really early joke that kind of hints at where the story's going, where he's talking to that upholstery shop owner and he asks him, like, what are your politics? And then the guy yells at his son and he's like, Benito, Adolfo, knock it off. And then they don't, like, linger on that joke either. They let the audience be smart enough to know the implication there.
I did think Adolfo was a funny name. I was like, that's very close to Adolf. And then I thought nothing else more on the subject. Isn't Benito, like the Italian, did they have a dictator back then? I can't remember. I don't remember the government they had. What was the governmental structure of Italy back in World War II?
Yeah, Benito Mussolini, the guy who invented fascism.
Damn it, I thought it was Mussolini, but I thought that was a dumb last name and I didn't want to look like an idiot again.
Mussolini, my
It's
fucking
okay.
goat.
All Italians have dumb last names.
Did they have, like, a John Henry of the Holocaust? Do they have any of those, like, hero figures at all?
Oh, what the fuck is his name? There was a guy like that, I can't remember, but it was like some guy, I think he was in like the Polish resistance, and he like multiple times broke in and out of Auschwitz to like
Oh my gosh.
bring communications to people and whatnot.
That's very fun.
Another dumb question that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the movie. Was Italy an Axis power in World War I and II? I thought they were just an Axis power in World War I.
Well, they weren't called the Axis in World War One.
Well, yeah, but for the sake of ease here.
They switched loyalties around a couple of times, but they were aligned with Hitler, yes.
Okay, because I remember I saw the fucking whatever the fuck the salute is called, and I was like,
Dude,
surely,
the Roman salute.
Yeah.
surely Italy wasn't on Germany's side of World War II. I don't
Yeah,
remember
they
that.
were.
Yeah, I looked that up and I was like, yeah, they were part of the Axis powers, and I was like, huh. I remember Italy helping the Allied powers, but I guess I'm
They
wrong.
do. It was after the Allies invaded Italy and dethroned Mussolini
Very funny.
that they joined them.
Makes sense, I guess. Anyway.
Well, boys, do you have anything else to say about Life is Beautiful?
Life truly is beautiful, huh?
It is pretty
Damn it,
beautiful.
Jackson, you stole my thunder!
Dude, I think it's a great movie. I think it balances its themes and its humor and its performances perfectly, and I think it has a really good message. Guys, I believe in the Holocaust now.
There we go. This is all it took. Why did the wife go into the concentration camps as well?
I don't think she truly understood
I don't
the
think she
gravity
did
of her
either.
situation.
But at the
But
same
also,
time,
she just wanted to be with her fucking kid and her husband.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that ultimately, at the end of the day, is what that was. So
She's a damned fool either way.
love is a crazy drug, dude.
Love is blind. Love is beautiful. I'll bump this one up a little bit. I was a tad cruel, perhaps. I'll give it a B+ as well.
Jackson.
Yeah, my rank is remaining unchanged.
Yeah, I think I've reflected on this movie, and I don't think anything really changes for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my S.
And it lands at a solid A anyways, overall. Jay, I'm sorry. I know you expected us to like this one a lot more than we did. Oopsies, I tried.
I mean, A is still pretty solid, regardless.
I mean,
so.
yeah, but like it's an A where three of us weren't really in agreement on it.
I mean, like, I'm still a little higher on it, but not by much, I guess. Never mind.
Don't lump me in with you freaks, is what he's saying right now.
Yes.
You B motherfuckers. B for bitches.